Welcome to the channel. All honor, glory, and praise be to our one and only Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Welcome to the conference. I wanted to come before you all briefly to just send a word of advice out there, or encouragement, or be somebody's voice out there that may not know how to deal with a lot of situations as it pertains to things you may face and the challenges you may face in this life. I don't think that anybody would too much argue. Maybe somebody would, but I don't know. Would argue that we live in a world where privacy seems to be a thing of the past, due to social media and people trying to share their, or actually are sharing. Actually, they're not trying their lives with people, strangers they don't even know. A lot of people, the entire world is in their business. I mean, when you look at it like that, it's kind of like, wait a minute, whoa, But I mean, really, whatever you put on the internet as it pertains to your life, you're sharing that with the world. And a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people are very private or anything. And then there are people in the world that are still private, but we live in a very different world now than what we did a long time ago. We live in a world where, and this is not in reference to anybody specific or anything, or anybody as a whole collectively, but I don't think too many people will argue that we live in a world now where common sense seems to be a thing of the past. Common sense seems to be a thing of the past. Privacy seems to be a thing of the past. There's just so many things that are transpiring in the world now, and the way that a lot of people are, that was unheard of back in the day. Like, people don't care if other people are all up in their business and stuff like that. And see, I come from the background where my life is my business unless it's something that I want to share. And a lot of people, I was watching something on the internet. Now, of course, I'm not going to call any names or anything like that, but I will say this. For you sisters out there, I don't care what ethnicity you are, or even you brothers, anytime somebody is sitting or standing in your face and they ask you something that you feel is none of their business, do not ever feel you are under any obligation to answer that person's question. And I know a lot of times people that don't seem to operate in common sense too much, they can catch you off guard. You understand? Meaning just anything simple. People might ask you something that it does not seem like anything private. But if it is something that you deem as private, you don't have to answer that person. You don't have to answer that person. If somebody asks you, do you have children? If you don't want to answer them, you don't have to. If they ask you, are you married? If you don't want to answer them, you don't have to. If they want to ask you where you live, if you don't want to answer them, you don't have to. And what I'd seen on the internet, now I'll go and elaborate a little bit, but there was somebody that asked somebody, and y'all, I'm telling I know this seems like something that's not a big deal, but I just feel like that a lot of people need to respect other people and just know how could I put it? Just basically exercise common sense, but I guess you got to have it to exercise it. But somebody was on the internet, and this is old, but I have to comment on it because it just keeps surfacing in my mind. And somebody had asked somebody if that was their hair. They were talking to somebody, and they asked the person, is that their hair? Now, to a lot of people, they may not find that to be anything offensive or anything that is out of the ordinary. But there are a lot of people out there that don't feel like that their personal grooming tactics are anybody else's business. They don't feel like that it's anybody's business what brand of cosmetics they use. They don't feel like it's anybody's business who does their hair, how much they pay to get their hair done, how much their clothes cost, where they buy their clothes. Do they order? Do they shop? Do they fly out to a city, buy their clothes, and come back to where they live? And I think I've heard talk of people purchasing clothes out of state. It might be a style that's not currently available in your state, and they'll go somewhere, like I don't know, somewhere, and purchase the outfit or whatever. But my point is this: don't ever feel like you don't have a right to politely put people in their place if they ask you something or inquire about something that you feel is absolutely none of their business. But what I was thinking about was somebody had asked somebody, if that was their hair or something like that. Now, a lot of people, that's a commonly asked question, especially to quote unquote African American women. But one thing that I want to put out there right now is that quote unquote African American women can grow hair. And I don't know what this whole thing is. I guess it's because a lot of quote unquote African American women, maybe they keep their hair short or whatever. But I don't think it's so much that the hair doesn't grow. It's just that the hair is so fine and so fragile that it breaks before it can. A lot of times it can obtain any length. And a lot of women out there, quote unquote African American hair, ethnic hair is very, very fragile. It's